it's Tanya, and today I wanted to talk about asthma and asthma attacks because this weekend I had an event where I was around some smoke and I have lung problems, obviously, and so it's caused me to feel kind of bad, and so I'm not feeling great right now, but it made me think about, do people know how to manage an asthma attack? And so that's what I'm gonna talk about today. So first, I kind of want to talk about what does an asthma attack look like for me, and I want to start off by saying I have sports-induced asthma, but I also have some other lung problems. But that means it normally comes up when I'm in an activity and I'm doing something physical. That's when my attacks start to come most often. But they also come when I have certain triggers, and we'll talk about triggers later. It's important to be able to identify what your triggers are so that you're able to, take care of those. But when I start having an asthma attack, the first kind of signals I get is my face starts to get very red and I have shortness of breath, and eventually my whole chest starts to get very tight and it starts to burn a little bit. It's somewhere in here that's tightening up, and instead of your airway being like this, it's closing, and that's what asthma is it's closing that airway so that you can't quite get air in. And so that's when I start coughing, that's when I start wheezing, and my wheezing is a little intimidating. I feel like it scares people around me, but really it's, people can handle it, it's okay, but it's just part of the whole asthma game. I'm not gonna lie, having an asthma attack can be pretty intimidating and scary, and so that's why I wanted to talk about it today, because how can you stay calm in the process and be able to get through it and get past it? First, I wanted to talk about how can you avoid an asthma attack, because there are ways to help you be able to avoid it. And so again, my ways might not work for every person. All of our bodies are a little bit different, and so we react in different ways to different kinds of triggers and stressors. But the main thing is most asthmatics are on a daily medication, and it's very important to take the medication every day so that you don't have as many problems. So a doctor once told me, and again, I am not a medical doctor, I'm just a person that has lung problems, and so I'm just talking through my experiences and what people have taught me. And so what a doctor has told me is you need to take the medicine every day, because if you are missing a day, it's almost like the whole cycle starts over, and it's like you never took the medication in the first place. So it's important to make sure that you're always taking it so that there's no lapses. Next, I always take my inhaler right before a physical activity if you have sports-induced asthma, because that's going to help unlock that airway so that it's less likely that you'll have an asthma attack. It's not going to for sure stop it, but that has helped me to be able to avoid that. If you start feeling your chest tightening, just stop and take your inhaler for a second, take a break for a moment, get a drink of water, take your inhaler. There is some steps that I do either in the midst of an asthma attack or before I'm having one, and it's opening your airway. And a lady taught me, her son had asthma. She taught me, put your hands on the top of your head and make sure you're sitting up straight. So if you're sitting, sit up straight or stand. I usually stand because it unlocks most of my airway, but you breathe in through your nose, out through your mouth, and just keep doing that until your chest feels not as tight and not as, nerve-wracking. The next step is to remain calm. It's very hard during an asthma attack to feel yourself like calming down, because it's literally your airway is blocked. You cannot breathe. And so I used to panic and I would start crying, but that's actually one of the worst things that you can do, because it's adding mucus to that airway that's already blocked. And so, again, I'm not a medical doctor. I just think that's what happens in my own body. But don't cry. It's going to make it worse. And that's something I really struggled with, because it's scary and you want to react in some way. But the lady told me, emotions are good, but just in the moment, you need to try to control those emotions and have them in better timing. And when your body calms, it's easier for you to stop that asthma attack. The next thing is to learn and be aware of what your lung triggers are, because We all are going to have different stimulus out in the world that are going to cause us problems. For example, my big one is smoke. So this weekend I was around a bonfire and it completely caused my lungs to have problems for the next multiple days. I had to go get an antibiotic from a doctor because I can't clear some things up on my own sometimes. And so again, smoke is one. Sidewalk chalk, I know it sounds really funny, but sidewalk chalk is one of my asthma triggers. So back in school, this is gonna age me probably, but anytime they would have a chalkboard in a room, I would always have more trouble in school because I couldn't breathe as well. But it's just something, keep an eye out for it. If you have a respiratory infection as well, that can affect your lung problems. And so don't be scared to reach out to a doctor to get any kinds of medications to help you, because the sooner you get it cleared up, the better, because if you let it sit in there, it's gonna start becoming infected if you have like mucus stuck and things like that. So if you have some kind of respiratory problem and it's not clearing up, it's okay to go to the doctor. But another thing that I've seen a lot of my other people that I know that have asthma, some of their triggers are allergies. Some people have normal allergies that allergens really bug them. Some people, food will cause problems, pollen, all kinds of different things. So just keep an eye out. Whenever you have some kind of lung problem, try to remember what was happening around you to be able to notice what those triggers are. Usually if I keep an eye out for these kinds of things, then I don't have as many asthma attacks. So those are some things to be aware of to be able to protect yourself from those kinds of things. So what if you're already having an asthma attack though? What do you do in that situation? But I would tell you pretty much the same thing. Make sure that you keep your hands on top of your head, breathe in through your nose, out through your mouth, and try to stay calm, because we want to open up that airway rather than closing it more. Again, if you're having the asthma attack, take your inhaler. I've got one here just to kind of show you. There's lots of different kinds. Some of them have counters on the back that tell you how many puffs you have left. But this is the one that I usually get. You just pop the front open, and when you push the button down, it quite literally squirts out a medication. And so when you're breathing in, make sure you breathe in when you're pushing the button. So that's something to kind of keep in mind. But asthma, hang out with your inhaler, take it with you where you go. I usually leave mine in a purse, or I keep it in my workout bag. So if I'm gonna go to the gym, I have one in the bag so that if I'm having a problem, I can take care of it while I'm there. What if you don't have the inhaler though? What if you don't have this and you're having an asthma attack? There's a couple different things. It's a little tricky. Some people can stop them, some people cannot. Ask people around you. Sometimes other people will have an inhaler, but again, it's important, breathe through your nose, out through your mouth, and make sure that you are opening that airway as much as you can. Have somebody get you some water. Sometimes it helps to have a couple sips of water because it just calms down your insides, I guess. I don't know. And if you are not getting clear, have somebody call 911. They're gonna have stuff on board of that ambulance to be able to help you out. It's not fun. I feel like asthma attacks, to me, they feel embarrassing, but really the people around you care about you. They want to help you. They're not judging you for it. They just want you to be better. And so that's one of those mental games that I have trouble with when I have asthma attacks, is thinking that people are going to think less of me. But in reality, it's a medical condition. People understand that things happen in life. And so as a reminder, try to always carry your inhaler just in case. Again, if you think that you have asthma, please go to a doctor. There are pulmonologists. They're the doctors that help you with lung problems. They can get you on medications. They can help talk you through different things. There's different devices that they can give you. And someday maybe I'll talk about some of those, or some of the medications that they can put you on. Granted, I am not a doctor, but I can talk about some of the ones that I've been on. But anyway, you're welcome to have a conversation in the comments. If you have questions, I'll try to to answer the things that I can answer. But again, if you have major questions, go to a doctor and ask them. But again, if you have other advice that maybe I haven't shared today and you've got asthma and you know how to like handle it pretty well, make sure you share those in the comments as well, because I'd love this to be a spot where people can figure out how can I protect myself the best. So keep that in mind. So main tip of the day, don't panic. Panic leads to more stressful life events and situation becoming more and more stressful. And it's okay to be scared. It's okay to be overwhelmed in the moment, but we just have to understand that this strange thing that is happening in our body is something that we can handle and we can get through. And so have a conversation with your family and friends. Let them know how to help. If you're in one of those situations, what can they do to better help you? I used to have my family would panic and that would make me panic more. So have a conversation. This is what I would like you to do. If I'm having an asthma attack, go find my inhaler, get it to me. That's the main thing that I told my family to do, is try to stay calm, get me my inhaler, and we're all gonna get through this. It's gonna be okay. But also let them know, where do you keep your inhalers? If you've got multiple, where are the spots that you keep them? And it's better for them to be prepared than like surprising them in it, I guess, kind of thing. So it's just not exactly a fun conversation to have, but it's gonna be more helpful to you in the end. So that's really what all that I've got for you today. I hope that you have a wonderful day. Don't talk to strangers unless they give you candy, and I'll see you next time. Bye.